Going to be stolen, I think, by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Ray rocked the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird and the cut to DJ. Yeah! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry way downtown. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace them up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
Filling in for Rick Ballou and Hacker After Dark this week before they make their return for the start of training camp. Little show we like to call Open Gym. RJ Saunders here with you, Dylan Denmark as well in studio. Glad you guys are here with us on a Wednesday evening. Going to be talking all things Jags, a little bit Orlando Magic. Also had SEC Media Days continuing. Final days of the media days. Steve Griffin allowing Frank Frangie as well as Matt Hayes doing incredible work for the station and getting incredible interviews, which you've been hearing all through the week. A lot of stuff to talk about. We would love your opinion on the matter. You can do so in two ways, whether that be on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010, or you can hit us up on our various digital platforms, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. So I'll basically start out like this. I think that there are many reasons to be optimistic about this season in terms of the growth for this ball club. I'm not trying to say that this is going to be a Super Bowl year or maybe even that of a deep playoff run by any stretch of the imagination, but I do feel that there should be a level of optimism. I do think that things will take a turn in the right direction, hopefully, because I understand that air and paper rosters, they don't hit back and they don't catch footballs. However, there does seem to be a little bit of a different energy here now in Jacksonville. Do you kind of feel that? Or at least in the NFL world when it comes to that of the Jacksonville Jaguars because of one Travis Hunter. When Trevor Lawrence got to this team, I remember being at the stadium. And I remember that there was a level of excitement that was permeating throughout the stadium as we awaited to hear his name called. But that excitement was coming from us, the fans. We believed that we were finally getting our guy. We're getting our Mahomes. We're getting our Tom Brady. We're getting our Aaron Rodgers, what have you. Trevor Lawrence, to me, I feel like the guy is a good interview. He's going to say the right things. He's built in a lab in terms of the talent and the speaking ability in which he has when he's in rooms, but it doesn't feel like he needs or wants to be the guy that's out there like a Travis Hunter. He's more of a family guy, right? I mean, we're being told that he's the biggest football film junkie amongst his teammates, and that's a lot of QBs. They normally keep to themselves. Private life, for the most part, private. Brian Thomas Jr., I feel, is one of the best receivers in this game. ESPN tells us a little bit different. We'll get to that later on in the show. But according to Jimmy Smith, Brian Thomas Jr. has the opportunity to surpass him and be known and labeled as the best wide receiver the franchise has ever had. However, he's more of a quiet guy. If you listen to his interviews, and there are those of us here at the station who have to cut up his interviews, not too much we can use. I understand that he's still learning. But on the field, he's an absolute monster. But every so often, I feel like you're going to have a guy that's going to transcend the sport, not only because of what they do on the field, but their personality off of the field. This is where you enter in Travis Hunter. And although we know what he is and what he can potentially be on the field, what he's doing in this new lens, in this new era in which we've embarked on called social media, Travis Hunter has the opportunity to create Jacksonville Jaguar fans, in my opinion, on top of the fact that they are Travis Hunter fans. And I think that he also has an opportunity to be in a class where you just say one part of his name and everybody immediately knows who you're talking about. We've seen that with a lot of great players, right? You don't have to say Tom Brady. You can say Brady, we immediately know who you're talking about. Same with Jordan, same with Mahomes, same with Kobe, same with Tiger. And last night, I felt was a huge shot in the arm and propelled his stardom and as well as the Jacksonville Jaguars' notoriety to an even higher level. This is Hunter last night with Kai Cenat of AMP, not AMP. But this was Travis Hunter on Kai Cenat's live stream last night.
Everybody's here.
I bet. I need y'all to say Duval.
Duval.
No, like the right way.
Duval. Duval.
Wait, what's the right
Look,
way?
you see how they spelling it?
Duval.
Wait. It's like Duval.
Okay, Duval. Okay.
What was that for? I don't know.
That's my team.
And I think that does say a lot to how he's going to be able to have fans embrace the Jacksonville Jaguars on top of the fact that they already embrace him. If you look at that cast of characters, that does create that of AMP. You have two guys who are from New York, and Phantom as well as Kai Cenat himself. Chris next door is from the Maryland area. Duke Dennis is from, I believe, the Carolinas. And then you have Davis and Agent 00. Both, I believe, have been growing up in the Atlanta area. And I've never taken any one of those guys for football fans. But if they do become football fans, maybe they become football fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's something that I feel transcends the game of football and can put him in an elite class where he can be a great player. However, I will also mention this note. When ESPN comes out with the C grade in terms of how the Jacksonville Jaguars offense or off-season looked, and they feel that it was an overpay to trade for one Travis Hunter, I think that it means a couple things. Number one, I feel that you're only thinking of year one because you probably feel if he doesn't break this NFL landscape wide open in year one, it justifies you then giving it the C grade. And I know that they're looking at this not in its totality in terms of Travis Hunter, but they're looking at it in the totality of the team overall. But a video like this, I think it means he's already breaking the NFL landscape because this is a guy who is creating a spark that maybe in Jacksonville was not created before. I ask you, the fans of Jacksonville, who was the guy that created that spark here in Jacksonville at the level or somewhere close to it with Travis Hunter? Maybe Jalen Ramsey? Maybe? Then who? And many of the teams that we see in the NFL today, they have those guys that are sparks. They have those guys that are bigger than the game of football. And outside of getting new coaches and a new regime, it almost feels like every few years, that's honestly the only time I feel Jacksonville gets any sort of recognition from the NFL. Now you're asking whether or not Travis Hunter can do what he is setting out to do, which is playing both sides of the field. And you are also now asking yourself, why all of a sudden are we talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars so much? Right? And if you are worried about the on-the-field ability or capacity in terms of whether or not Travis Hunter is going to be able to do this at a high level, well, this was Trevor Lawrence on Pardon My Take talking about the number 2 pick.
I mean, he's unbelievable as far as like the condition and shape he's in. I mean, this guy can run all day. He plays DB, he plays receiver. Like he'll run a post route or whatever and say we'll miss it or I want to run it different. But I'll run it again. Just come right back. And other guys, I mean, everyone I've played with is like no one does that. It's not shade on anybody else, but it's like no one's trying to run 50 yards full speed again right when they just did it. So it's stuff like that. He's a super hard worker, just a good guy. Like you can tell he doesn't have a lot of like, you know, issues going on and stuff where it's like he's distracted. Like he just seems very focused and like, you know, sticks to himself. He's great.
So I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion, they're going to be just fine this season. I think that there are a lot of us here in Jacksonville that also believe that. But I also understand, and I also believe, and many of us also understand that this has to equal to wins on the field. Because as much as I can hype this up on a microphone and you guys listening on the radio and talking about it, whether you're sitting on a bar stool or a church pew, this can fizzle out right away. If this goes south this season, Shohei Ohtani aspect of what he can be, people will probably say that we need to start holding our horses. I mean, look at our quarterback. There are few that say, listen, he's not the generational guy. He's not everything that they said he was going to be. And he's going to now have to fight that uphill battle. And it's going to take a while to get up that hill, to change a lot of individuals' minds. But I do think he'll get there. Travis Hunter has the opportunity to get there as well. So if Jacksonville is losing, who cares? But the fact that you have a guy who can give you this spark, and maybe even a spark to that of your quarterback, I think that this is all going to trickle down to everybody in that building. The laughter in which we saw from that video when he says, yes, sir, you made the right decision by choosing me. Even the other videos in which we have seen where him, you know, he's doing meet and greets at Dick's Sporting Goods. He's in the community. You guys are seeing him. Everywhere he goes, it seems he's wearing Jacksonville Jaguars apparel. He is a walking brand for Jacksonville, but he's going to transcend, I believe, the franchise, and he wants to be here. And I think he's also going to transcend the game of football. But to be able to do it here in Jacksonville, I think this is also hype up you guys too, because now we're saying we do have our own guy. Not only with Trevor Lawrence, who we feel is going to turn it around, but we have our own guy that when you turn on the TV and they're talking NFL, they have to talk about Jacksonville. Even if they're talking about Travis Hunter and the great ways in which he's playing, they're also talking about us. And look at what a year does, right? I understand the Madden 26 cover. That's always going to have the Jacksonville Jaguars. On a negative note, thank you so much, Saquon Barkley. But now we can turn it around in a year, 2 years, and Travis Hunter can be the guy that can lead us there. Certainly exciting times here in Jacksonville, FLA, in my opinion. But I would love to get your opinion. Is Jacksonville on the map due to the fact that Travis Hunter is doing what he's doing in just this short time in the offseason before we get to training camp and the regular season? 641-1010, the number for you to give your thoughts there. Let's get more in depth, however, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is Ezra Cleveland the most underrated player on this ball club? We discuss that next with JP Shadrick here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Connect with 1010XL.
On the line, with your friends. Now everyone's exchanging ideas.
Find 1010XL on your social channels.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
When it comes to my opinion, I love dropping the hammer. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I've got to tell you, I've heard Hacker and Mike and Matt talk so much about Awaken 180, how easily they were able to lose weight, how it works, the personalized coaching, the food choices, the whole bit, and I was really impressed. So when my daughter Amber told me she was trying to lose a few pounds, I recommended it. She and I both connected with the folks at Awaken 180 to learn more. Well, she started, and she absolutely loves it. She said the food choices are perfect for her. She loves her coach. She believes it truly will improve her overall health. Man, there's not much better than hearing your kid excited. I can assure you nobody means more to me than my daughter, and I wouldn't trust just any company to help her, but I trust the folks at Awaken 180. If you are ready to kickstart your transformation, you should give them a call at 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com. It's helped our family. It truly has. It can help yours as well. Give Awaken 180 a call today.
Hayes Carline here. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise Free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showrooms. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Filling in for Rick Ballou as well as Hacker. It's Open Gym. RJ Saunders here with you. Glad you guys are here with us. And our next guest probably can't wait for the matchup against Alabama and Florida State after the yakety yak we heard from Mr. Castellanos. But when he's not salivating over that game, he's doing a wonderful job giving us the latest on the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is JP Shadrick, Jaguars senior reporter and editor, so kind enough to give us a few moments here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. JP, are you more excited for the Alabama FSU game or Jaguars training camp? We need to know.
Oh, well, first off, it's good to be back with you, RJ. I know where my bread is buttered, so it's definitely Jaguars training camp.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's been a long off season, a lot of new going on, and excited to get on the grass next week and see what this team puts together going into the season. And, you know, at the same time, though, I mean, college football is knocking on the door, too.
Right.
That's always fun. And, you know, it's a fun time of year because it's just right on the cusp, on the edge of actually getting back to football things. And that's
Right.
what I love the most.
Now, let's get into the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, we've seen guys like Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, as well as Josh Hines-Allen. They're making their rounds, or whether that be on podcasts or streams or doing radio hits. And just wanted to start with Trevor Lawrence with you. I mean, he says on the Pardon My Take podcast that, hey, it's year 5. I have a lot of good years ahead of me, but it's time for me to be more consistent. Now, you said last time we had you on that, you know, we need to be patient with one Trevor Lawrence, and he did get the extension, so there's going to be a lot of time in which we're going to have to be patient with him as he continues to grow and develop and be the franchise QB that we know he can be. But for you, you know, where would you like to see Trevor Lawrence be more consistent when you hear him make that comment?
You know, it's a good one. I think it's another new offense for him. That's going to be the challenge this whole offseason was getting the terminology down and everything and the timing with the guys around him. You know, he's got to be a little more just let's let this thing rip. Yeah. You know, there's times where he might not make a throw when he probably should, or he'll hesitate, or, you know, find the read and throw the ball. I mean, trust your guys to go do it. I think that's something he'll have to do a little bit of a better job in. And then, as we said before, protecting himself from himself too. He's got that innate ability to move and create on his own, but that comes with consequences, as we saw sometimes fairly or not, you know, at the end of plays. You got to protect yourself. So I think make the right read, get it out of your hand, trust the guys around you, and I think that's for me. I think that's where you start.
Now, in terms of a guy he can possibly be ripping the ball to, is out of Travis Hunter. And I mean, you know, he's bringing an excitement to this city and to the fan base as well as the organization and probably the NFL world in terms of him, you know, being a Jaguar. And that's something we haven't seen in, you know, a long while, that excitement being here in Jacksonville over a player. So at the same time, I just don't want to put too much on him, and, you know, numbers wise and stat wise, you know, in order to say he was worth the number 2 pick because he had this stat line going into year 1. We've always talked about, you know, just kind of what is the line in which you think he's going to toe in terms of offensive and defensive abilities. But just realistic stat expectations for Travis Hunter? Have you been able to think about that at all? And what should we realistically be thinking about year one with Travis, what he'll be able to do on the field?
Yeah, that's how much will he really play both ways? Let's start with that. And then is he really going to take all the throws away from Brian Thomas on the other side, who went to the Pro Bowl? He's going to get his, hopefully. That a lot of those came late in the season for Brian, right? If they can find some kind of chemistry with Trevor, that would help certainly on that side. And then what's his real role on offense? Is he like the third receiver? Is he moving around more?
Right.
Is he running deep all the time? That'll wear him down a little bit more. I think those are all questions that we'll find out as the season goes along, how they actually utilize him on offense. But, you just got to keep in mind, too, RJ, it's like rookie receivers as a whole usually don't come in right away and put up 1,400 yards. That is a rarity.
Yeah.
That just does, even with 17 games now. It's just the speed of the game's different for rookies. The physicality is much different for a lot of these guys. And that's something we'll have to watch with Travis as well, because he's a little slight of frame, So how does the wear and tear build up as the season goes along? And then on the defensive side, what's he really going to be? Is he going to be a starter on the outside? Is he going to be a third kind of corner that comes in situations when he has to face the quarterback and read and react? Like what is the idea there? And, how does that contribute to what he can do on offense just physically? Yeah, I know he did it in college.
Right.
I think it's just a totally different mindset now. They're going to let him loose and try it.
Yeah.
And then reel it back in when they have to.
Continuing our conversation with J.P. Shadrick, Jaguars senior reporter, joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. You bring up Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't in ESPN's top 10 wide receivers list, but he was an honorable mention. But is it crazy to not have him there? Just, the production in which he had in year one, I don't think that can be slept on. Is there something that the national media didn't see to put him in the top 10? Just when you look at the list, just kind of what were your takeaways from it with him being an honorable mention?
It's list season, isn't it? This is what we do in the summertime. Lists and Mount Rushmores, and it's just, everybody's trying to find content. You know what they didn't see? They didn't see wins.
Yeah.
They didn't see a team that's in the mix. They didn't see a team that's in the playoffs. Yeah. And those teams and players that are in the spotlight get on your lists. And that's just how it works. So when they stink, they're not going to get on the list as a team. So it's very rare in that regard. So if this team improves, players will be on lists. That's just how that's going to work. I wouldn't worry about it with Brian. I think his mindset seems to be great. I believe they're going to play well together with all the new faces around him, with Travis Hunter and everything. It doesn't seem that his personality is of the diva sorts. So go play and go continue to improve day to day. And I think that's what Brian will do, list or not. And, at some point down the line, he'll be on a list of multiple Pro Bowl years.
Yes.
How about that list? That would be nice.
Now, there was a piece that came out talking about with Jimmy Smith where he says Brian Thomas Jr. does have the opportunity to probably surpass him as the greatest Jaguar receiver in franchise history. Do you think he's on that trajectory just based off of what we saw year one? That's a high standard with Jimmy Smith and the great things he was able to do while in a Jag uniform. But for him to say that, should we kind of be looking at it that way ourselves as Jacksonville Jaguar fans?
It does seem like he does have that physical presence about him. Now Jimmy Smith was a true explosive, just physical specimen. It's a different level. Now, Brian Thomas does have some physicality to him and some height, and he can go up and get it. And they come in if Jimmy said it, okay, that's good enough in my book to believe that it's possible. But Jimmy Smith also put together how many years consistently of those kind of numbers over and over and over again? That's what it's going to take. Just staying consistent, continuing to improve, and then producing and scoring. You don't get to that level unless you're in the end zone a lot too, by the way. So making big catches and big moments, red zone, scored it from wherever. It's a good start. It's 1 year. So let's hold off on the pride of the Jaguars for a little bit and let him play a little bit more and settle in with his offense.
JP Shadrick joining us here on Open Gym on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Let's get into training camp. I read the piece that you guys did on Jaguars.com about the curiosities that you guys have going in the training camp. You talked about the offensive line, and I'm sure that that's something as well as fans are going to be looking at closely. But outside of the offensive line, for you, what's the next biggest thing that you're curious about heading into camp?
Yeah, it's hard to top the O-line just because of all the questions and everything there, and players on contracts from the previous regime, and new faces and all that. That's a huge storyline for this offense and everything that's going to happen there. I think next is just what is the defense really going to look like?
Okay.
They've got a whole new scheme again. They've got 2 edge rushers who they feel like are right there and can be among the top tier in the National Football League in the right situation. They've got some veteran linebackers. They've got some questions on the interior on the defensive line.
Right.
And they've got a whole revamped secondary with a lot of new faces back there. So what does this really look like? How are they going to attack? What's their personality going to be? If it's anything like their defensive coordinator so far, okay, that could be an interesting match between him and the way they play. Let's see it. I think that's a huge question because, this day and age, you're not going to roll out an all-time defense is hard to find, right?
Right.
The way offense is played today,
right.
People are going to score on you sometimes. Slow them down as much as you can, and if your offense can get moving, okay, that's how you win some football games. They would hate to hear that, as a defensive coach or defensive guys. That's just how it's skewed. It's skewed towards the offense. But you got to be able to perform and get off the field a little bit more than they have. And in certain situations, they just had no chance a lot of times on defense. So for me, that's the next biggest thing, O-line, and then what the heck does this defense look like?
Now, when you talk about the offensive line, Ezra Cleveland, an interesting stat I saw popped up on social media. He was 5th best in pressure rate allowed last year. He also finished 8th among interior offensive linemen in ESPN's analytics run block win percentage. Do you think he's becoming somewhat underrated here in Jacksonville because of the questions that we have along that offensive line?
Maybe. He's been hurt a lot, too. He's been out of the lineup some. So it's really hard to say overall. But those numbers are great.
Yeah.
Again, that's fine. But if the other 4 guys can't block anybody, then, let's just go to somebody else, right? So that's where some of those rankings and things on O-line play get kind of lost with me because it is all 5 guys.
Yeah.
And what is the end result of that? But don't want to take away too much from what he has been able to do statistically and things. But you got to remember, too, it's more than just him. It's going to be a whole lot more than just one person up front.
Finishing up our conversation with JP Shadrick of the Jacksonville Jaguars on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. I asked this to Jamal St. Cyr. I've also asked this to John Shipley. Everybody saw the offseason grade that ESPN gave to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was that of a C. Now, I do understand that you're going to have to see it on the field before you can really give a real inclination of how good the offseason was for that of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But for you, seeing what you saw and looking at it now on paper in terms of the new faces that we're seeing here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, is a C a fair grade to give the team, or do you think it should be a little bit higher in your opinion?
Maybe a little higher if you believe James Gladstone and when he said, hey, we got every target we wanted in free agency, and then they shut it down, basically. Okay, that's step 1.
Right.
And they make the bold move to go up and get Hunter. That's about as bold as it gets.
Right.
Step 2, and some other guys they feel contribute and that can contribute in time in the draft. Okay, that's fine. Of course, new coaching staff and new leadership and all that. It has been among one of the most active off seasons in a while around here with everything that happened there. But that combined with some cornerstone players for the franchise that they have locked in on long-term deals. Okay, so you don't have to go searching for the quarterback. You don't have to go searching for the pass rushers and things. They're all on the roster. So I'd give them a little higher than that. I'm also a little biased, right? But give them a B. Give them a B. I'll give them a B. Room to improve.
Okay. That is three straight Bs here from the Jacksonville Jaguar experts.
Well, I mean, you brought in some heavy hitters.
I'm bringing in my opinion, the heaviest hitter. I mean, he said step aside Alabama FSU. It's Jacksonville Jaguar training camp. We're bringing it to the table, and I absolutely cannot wait to see all of your breakdown and analysis all season about the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I understand that the listeners here cannot wait either, as he is JP Shadrick, Jaguars senior reporter and editor, so it's kind enough to give us a couple moments of his time before training camp rolls around here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. JP, thank you so much again for chatting with me, and hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road, man.
You got it, buddy. Anytime. We'll talk to you.
Absolutely. There he goes, JP Shadrick, Jacksonville Jaguars senior reporter as well as editor. Do you agree with the fact that Brian Thomas Jr. was not in the top 10 wide receivers list made by ESPN? I understand it's just a list, but they made it. Do you agree with it? Let's discuss next here on Open Gym.
It's a test of skill, courage, and nerves of steel. Take your shot at the Open Championship with 1010XL's You Pick'em contest. Teed up by Hello Windows and Doors. You could win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds. Enter at 1010XL.com. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The reigning national champs will be taking on the Miami Hurricanes here in Jacksonville for the Jacksonville Hoop Showdown at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena on November 16th. 5 Gators have made the Athlon Sports 2025 All-SEC preseason team, including Jake Slaughter, first-team center, Jaden Boss, second-team running back, Eugene Wilson, second-team wide receiver, Tyreek Sapp, second-team defensive lineman, and DJ Lagway, fourth-team quarterback.
Who says there's no free lunch? Join me, Prosser, and Jaguar and Gator legend Fred Taylor for free food and football talk Friday, August 8th at the Alhambra Theater. When you hear this...
Bye-bye! Brock Berry is still chasing a 90-yard run.
Be caller 28 to win a pair of tickets to a free lunch with Fred. Doors open at 11. Jags talk, Gators talk, football talk, including a 1-hour Q&A with Freddie T, and we're buying your lunch. Stay tuned for this sound to win your tickets.
Bye-bye! Brock Berry is still chasing a 90-yard run.
Courtesy of Jenkins Hyundai and Genesis of Jacksonville on Atlantic.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
The great thing about live sports, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, how did he pull that off?
Get the most live play-by-play on 1010XL.
At JEA, we're committed to keeping our community storm ready all year long. We continue to invest in our electric, water, and wastewater systems to make them more storm resistant. Our crews trim trees to help keep power lines clear from falling debris. Plus, our outage map and My JEA app make it easier than ever to report and track outages. Whatever storm season brings, we're ready to respond, restore, and keep you informed every step of the way. Learn more about our efforts and how you can prepare at jea.com/storm.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. Divorcemenonly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
The coolers are full at your local Gate gas station, making it easy for you to cruise in and cruise out with little downtime. Ice cold Coronas, Natty Light, Stella Artois, and Michelob Ultra. And don't forget the king of beers, Cold Buds. Gate's got them in the cooler, waiting for you.
Where is the deepest canyon in the United States?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The deepest canyon in the United States is Hell's Canyon along the Oregon and Idaho border, about 8,000 feet deep at some point.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Thank you to JP Shadrick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, their senior reporter, joining us, giving us the latest on the team before we head to training camp. Certainly an exciting time here in the city, not only because training camp is here, and that means the NFL season is upon us, but also Travis Hunter continuing to make the rounds here, whether that be on streams, whether that is just around the city. I mean, this guy has turned into the president, not only the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft, but I mean, I think he's the president of Jacksonville. He can't go anywhere without, somebody saying, hey, you're my man. You're the best. You're the greatest. Hasn't played a snap or a down in the NFL yet. But I do believe that is a very good thing here in the city of Jacksonville. And another guy who I feel is being treated like the president here is Brian Thomas Jr. And we saw the ESPN top wide receivers rankings, the top 10 that they have going into 2025. And, rankings and ratings are something we always look at all the time. And we heard from JP Shadrick, listen, it's list season. And most of these lists should not matter. Unless you are those drug addicts at Bleacher Report that have Kobe Bryant number 11 all time. I'm still pissed. But we move past it. But I do believe that sometimes you can create great motivation, I feel, for some players. And also, there are times in which you can agree with the national media in this regard. I think the reason why they do not have Brian Thomas Jr. in their top 10 is just because they want to see it again. J.P. Shadrick also talked about the wins. You normally get recognized when you are winning. So when I was doing the basketball show on Sundays, and I said, listen, I have the same issue with these lists when it comes to that Apollo Banchero. Because it's easy to see the talent. But when you have them ranked in the 20s, you're asking yourself why. What in the hell are you watching? And I think Brian Thomas Jr., like that Apollo Banchero, just needs to show the national media in the NFL world again. And because of that, this should show for him added motivation going into this season. This is what an AFC exec said. He'll be on the list by next year. He can do it all. He took the league by storm last year. He's got size and can win in all areas of the field. There's not one thing you can't do with him. He can play outside or in the slot and dominate. Whoever that AFC exec is, he knows football. But your 10 wide receivers go as follows: Chase, Jefferson, Heel, Lamb, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors. Whoa! Nico Collins, Mike Evans, and freshly paid Garrett Wilson. Now, this is just going into 2025. Could you argue that Thomas should be in this list now? You can. We can as fans, and I don't blame you for thinking that way, especially when it comes to Malik Neighbors. I mean, he had better numbers than Malik. But with the season that Jacksonville had, on top of the fact that maybe you weren't watching as closely, and by you, I mean the media, then you just have to have them watch. This is Eric B. and Rakim and that song. Keep them eager to listen. This is why I continue to say there should be so much motivation with a lot of these guys. Travis Hunter. There's people who think he can't play on both sides of the football because there's a lot of motion going on offensively that he has to learn, and he can't be in two meetings at the same time. Trevor Lawrence, we talked about it yesterday, needs an amnesty that year, a la what Kobe did against the Dallas Mavericks when Mark Cuban said he should be amnestied. Right? Now you have Brian Thomas Jr. And for this Jaguar team, us as fans, we saw it. Brian Thomas Jr., he finished third in the NFL with 1,282 receiving yards. Here's the problem, though. This is from Daniel Griffith. Of the 1,282 yards, 93 came in just the first quarter. That first quarter part has to change. Not now, but right now. He'll need to be showcased more, in my opinion, within that offense early on. And I think this is where you enter in a guy like Liam Cohen. Because here's his opening drive success last season. So the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, just 14 opening drive TDs, in the last 6 seasons, tied for 30th. Liam Cohen, his offense scored 8 just last season alone. That was the best in the NFL. On opening drives, the Bucs led in EPA play, yards, TDs, and points on opening drives. So, in ways, you're asking what he needs to do in order to be considered top 10 next year. And I think Omar Ruiz, he joined us when we last were speaking with one another, and he said that, he has them top 12, top 15. But if you get another year like he had this past season, he easily is top 7, top 10. So the goal's in front of you. The challenge is presented. He's the clear number one on this ball club. Trevor has to get him the ball. And I hear Leon Searcy sometimes he speaks on the fact that maybe Brian Thomas Jr. needs to go to Trevor and the staff and say, hey, listen, you guys need to get me the ball. And sometimes I don't think you need to be that. We heard J.P. Chadrick talk about it. He doesn't come off as a diva. Just a very quiet guy that likes to play his football. Maybe he has said something, or maybe he feels he doesn't have to say anything because don't turn on the tape, film junkies. Open up a magazine, open up a newspaper. You see me. You see what I do out here. Day after day and night after night. And in order for the Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion, to have a successful season, Brian Thomas not only needs to be showcased, but he needs to be showcased more early in games. Because in my opinion, again, he's the Paolo Banchero of wideouts right now. A guy who we say should be here, but you put him here because you want to see it again. And also you want to see winning from the team. You want to see winning from the ball club. And as a talent, he should be absolutely fine with that. Because if you like that, then you'll like to show the world why they should have put you on the list to begin with. And that should be no problem, in my opinion at least, for one Brian Thomas Jr. Again, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear yours. 641-1010 on the text line or on our various digital platforms, whether that be on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. When we come back, speaking of Paolo Banchero, let's talk a little bit of Magic Hoops with Dante Marchitelli. The East is so wide open that I ask, what are the chances that the Magic break through and take that conference by storm next year? We find out next on Open Gym.
Kick off another college football season with players, coaches, and insiders of the best conference. The Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing SEC Media Days. Opened by Window World of Northeast Florida, Underwood Jewelers, and Florida Pest Control.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law.
Here's Linda Beaver.
The dog days of summer are here, and so are the hottest deals of the year. Whether you're hauling down the street, cruising on the beach, or just escaping the heat, we have the ride you're looking for and the wow you experience you deserve. Save big on select models with sizzling summer savings, low financing, and limited time bonus cash on all trades. So don't sweat it. Come beat the heat at Beaver Automotive, where the summer deals will wow you.
Want to bet on sports but no clue where to start? Millions of players are already making moves on Hard Rock Bet. Your friends might be winning. Why not you? Bet with confidence. Bets by real players help guide your picks. Go with the crowd and cash in on the wins. Any pick that catches your eye. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. New players bet $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
First of all, congratulations on the show.
Join the 1010XL Podcast Network.
How do you like being in a real studio?
Now you can find all your favorite 1010XL podcasts in your platform of choice.
Football season is almost here, so before it arrives, I'm going to get my home organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers. Anywhere that needs to be organized. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off during the month of July. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Tired of high energy bills? Well, replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. Don't miss Renewal by Anderson's summer sale. Buy 4 windows or doors and get the 5th one free. No money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires July 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner. With honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Sun's out. Deals on at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Summer's here, and so are the flavor-packed deals, like a Yingling beer-battered fish sandwich, chicken salad lettuce wraps, or the combo basket, all for under $14. Craving more? Add 3 bone-in wings to any handheld or entree for just $3.49. Sip on a refreshing peach tea cocktail, or grab an ice-cold Michelob Ultra. Perfect for patio season. Summer's never tasted this good. Find yours at hurricanewings.com.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach, you just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it, come see us.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
You know, there's a lot of things in which I could say to describe our next guest. I've talked about without him, I'm probably not hosting in any sort of capacity, especially when it comes to talking hoops. But you know what? I'm going to skip all of that and just say I am glad to be talking basketball and Magic hoops with my friend. He is Dante Marchitelli, Magic host, as well as sideline reporter. Also, the host of Magic Insiders on 96.9 The Game in Orlando. And he joins us now on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. My brother, how are you?
I love that. And I second that as well, RJ. Always great to talk to you. And anytime we're talking hoops, my friend, that means an NBA season's around the corner.
Yes.
Or we got some exciting things happening. So it's unbelievable, isn't it? The NBA doesn't rest. We just had the end of the season, and now here we are in Summer League. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And when it comes to that of the off season, I really feel like the Orlando Magic have been insanely busy. I really feel like they put a major emphasis on that of offense and playmaking with the acquisitions of guys like Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones, You draft Jace Richardson. Noah Penda feels like he's going to be a player for years to come for the Orlando Magic. So for you, seeing all the moves in which they've made in the offseason, just how would you grade it for the Orlando Magic?
Well, I think it's an A+, honestly, for what we needed. And if nothing else, RJ, I say that because of this. We needed a summer where we went all in, right?
Yeah.
If you're a Magic fan, you needed to know where this team stands, and you kept waiting for this day, right? We've heard for years, right? Salary cap flexibility, draft capital, internal development, right? Which is great. You need that. When you're a young team and you're developing within, you need all of those things. But at some point, you got to push the chips in, and that's what we had this summer. And, it kind of reminds you back in 2009 when the Magic went out and got Rashard Lewis,
right,
who was highly coveted by a lot of teams. And, people will say they overpaid for him, but look how valuable he ended up being, and that team ended up going to the NBA Finals. And, people say you overpaid a little bit for, to get Desmond Bane 4 first-round draft picks.
Right.
But those picks should be in the mid to late 20s, if everything's right. So.
Right.
And you've still got a lot of second-round picks, and you still got 3 first-round picks in the next 6 years. So you still have a ton of draft capital. You still have a little bit of wiggle room in years to come in regards to the salary cap. But you showed everybody, most importantly, you showed Paolo and Franz that you mean business and that we're in. Ownership was phenomenal, saying, yeah, let's do it. Let's spend the money. Let's do whatever it takes to get a winner here. And now we got to see what it looks like on the floor. But you addressed the needs that you had. With that three-point shooting, which was huge.
Now, speaking of Paolo Banchero, I understand he wasn't an off-season acquisition, but he is the face of your franchise. You give him the extension, and I feel it was important for so many reasons. One, you're keeping your star player for years to come, but also that core there of Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., also Desmond Bane. They're going to be around, and that's going to be a tough out for anybody in the East, and, I mean, even the NBA as a whole. Your thoughts on the Banchero extension and what kind of a treat are we in for next season when it comes to this young all-star?
Well, we thought I just think it's huge. Obviously Magic fans get nervous, and fans in general just thinking, okay, we know what happened with Shaq, we know what happened with Dwight, we know what happened with Tracy McGrady, but everybody's different. And still, even with that, Dwight was here 9 years. That's a heck of a run in one town. But knowing that he's here, you've got him. He's already played 3 years. You've got one more year on his rookie deal, so that'll be this upcoming season. And then the 5-year extension kicks in. And then after that, he's got an option for his 6th year.
Right.
So we could be looking at 10 years by the time this thing is over and done with this contract, and that sets him up nicely for another one at the ripe old age of 29.
Right.
He'll be going into the next one. But he bought a house here in Orlando. He settled down. And I think, he's committed to being in the gym. The house that he bought has a basketball court in it, which is fantastic. Yeah. And he's, so I think that shows the commitment to this area, to this community, that he wants to be here. And he's just wired differently, RJ. He's just a guy that he wants to win. And all the other stuff is great. And yes, obviously the security, the generational wealth, all of that is huge, and that comes with it. But what was he doing at the minutes after he signed that contract? He was back out on the practice court.
Yeah.
He was back out there getting shots up. And, I would have celebrated a little differently, but that's good for him.
Right.
But that's good for him. He did the right thing. But that shows what he's about, and I think that's huge. So you've made the commitment to Paolo. You've made the commitment. You've given him everything you can possibly give him. And now you've gone out there and built a team around him. And I think that's huge. I think that just sends a message to Paolo that we're about the right things. We want you here as long as you're wearing an NBA uniform. We want it to be in Orlando, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to help you win.
Continuing our conversation with Dante Marchitelli, Orlando Magic host, as well as sideline reporter, joining us here on Open Gym. Dante, I am going to be completely honest with you. Outside of the Knicks and the Cavs in the East, this looks to be wide open. I mean, I see the Pistons. I understand that they're good, but I don't know if they're ready to take that next step yet. The Hawks, I mean, a solid group of guys, but in my opinion, they don't worry me. Is it wrong for me to look at this conference and say, if Orlando stays healthy and Paolo plays at that all-star MVP level that we know that he plays it, night in and night out. You have Franz there. You also have Suggs, and they're playing like the stars we know they are. And defensively, they're firing on all cylinders, and the three-point shooting as a team takes a, dramatic turn upward. This may be the squad that we see representing the Eastern Conference in next year's NBA Finals. Am I crazy to think this?
Don't fire me up, man. Don't fire me up. No, I don't think you're crazy at all. And I think we've seen that. If any indication, look at Indiana this past year.
Right.
Look at what they did. Look at the run that they got on. The other part of that too. The other part of that equation is with all the injuries. Unfortunately, you hate to see it.
Right.
But with the injuries, I think the entire Eastern Conference landscape and the roadmap to the NBA Finals is completely changed, where anybody could be a surprise.
Yes.
I don't think it would surprise anybody to get to the NBA. It wouldn't surprise you if Atlanta was there. It wouldn't surprise you if the Knicks were there.
Right.
The Cavs got to get there. If
Right.
I'm in Cleveland, I'm thinking, well, this has got to be the year now, right? Because they've just fizzled out the last couple of years. So I think you got a lot of teams saying this is the time. We've got to get in there. Who knows what Milwaukee looks like and all those things. So, no, I don't think you're crazy at all. You're looking at 2 years ago where you were the 5th seed. You were one game out of 4th.
Right.
You were healthy. And listen, this is no knock on these guys, but you were starting Gary Harris. You were going to Joe Ingles with big minutes off the bench, and we love those guys. But now you have significantly upgraded with the addition of Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones. Let's not forget about Tyus Jones. One of the best players in the NBA protecting the basketball the last 7 years, and one of the best corner three-point shooters in the NBA, and one of the best shooters just in general at the point guard position. So you've got another playmaker, which you sorely lacked. And there's a major competition for minutes where these guys are going to continue to push each other. But you said it, the major thing is going to be health. This team has been snake-bitten with injuries. You don't know when Mo Wagner will be ready.
Right.
Hopefully shortly after training camp, and he can come back there and play and be the Mo of old. That was huge bringing him back as well. But yes, if everything goes well, you stay healthy. No, there is absolutely no reason this team can't come out of the East.
Speaking of Mo Wagner, you touched on it a little bit, but I did want to ask you, just how important was it for the Orlando Magic to bring him back?
Oh, I think it was huge. And it was a team-friendly deal, and I think it's because of the injury, and I think it's because, there's a lot of teams, that look and say, okay, well, we don't know when he'll be ready. We don't know what capacity he'll be at. So let's kind of see how he does this year. And I think there'll be a lot of major bidders for him next year. Hopefully the Magic are able to bring him back.
Right.
But at least you're able to have him back this year. And you keep that consistency, that core. He was a guy that was brought in to start this whole thing. He's one of the longest tenured guys here. Now that Cole Anthony has moved on and part of that deal, and we love Cole, but he sets the culture, RJ. He's a walking bucket, so he gets in. Coach Mosley always says Mo steps on the floor in the morning, walking out of bed, and he's got 10 points. That's what he's become.
Right.
He's had a career year, 12 points a game. He was our best three-point shooter percentage-wise when he got hurt. He was at 36%.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, 36% was the best percentage, but it was his.
Right.
So I think that's the thing. So he's shown that he can knock down the three. He's an irritant. He's an agitator. He gets on you. He always hustles. He gives you everything he's got, and I can count several games that we would have lost had we not had the energy from Mo Wagner to get us back in the game or to help us win it. So he just brings not only the intangibles, the stuff that you want from a teammate, but he's a bona fide scorer in this league, and he's a great rebounder. He's become a much better defender, and this is a guy that's he's become a force in this league, and we're lucky to have him back. And now the pieces are coming together here for a big run, but he's a big part of it.
Continuing our conversation with Dante Marchitelli of the Orlando Magic, joining us here on Open Gym. Speaking of Mo, you also have to talk about his brother in Franz. When you talk about Mo being a walking bucket, my goodness, Franz is an absolute flamethrower. But he and Suggs both coming back next season along with Paolo Banchero. But when you speak to, those two guys outside of Banchero, when it comes to Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs, what type of a year are you expecting from both of them individually going into next season?
Well, I think Franz will tell you got to be more consistent from three. I think he was around 29% last year, and that's not where he wants to be. And he's much more capable of being in the mid-30s, the NBA league average. But he improved his scoring. Mark, you think about it, him and Paolo, that's the only duo to average 20 points a game in Magic history aside from Shaq and Penny, right? So that's what we're talking about. That's the kind of duo, the kind of star power that we have now with Franz and Paolo. But I think he'll want to work more consistently on that. That three-point shot was huge. He'll tell you he needs to rebound more, but he did a great job rebounding the basketball. He's a great job facilitating, finding guys. He's a very underrated defender. which is huge. This team is defense first, and he is a very, very underrated defensive player, one of the better defenders on this team. So he's the total package, and he at 6'10" to handle the basketball, to survey the court, while he's either able to get to the rim and finish or find a teammate. The thing that blows my mind is everybody knows he wants to get in the paint and finish. Everybody knows it's coming, and nobody can stop it.
Can't stop it.
It's right. It's amazing to me. We remember Hito Turkoglu kind of had that ability.
Yeah.
And he could score, but the way he does it, unorthodox, left hand, right hand, finish in the tall trees, and everything that he brings, he just, I think if he can extend that a little bit, I think that's going to be huge. Now think about this, guys, because he's got the ability to get to the basket, and this is when you're 29th in three-point percentage, right? 29th and 30 every year he's been in the NBA.
Right.
So now you add Desmond Bain, 40%. You add Tyus Jones, 40%. Jace Richardson, 40% in college. Now he's got that 6 inches that he needs, where the defender can't leave those guys out on the perimeter. And now that's 6 inches that he's got to maneuver and get to the basket. I'm telling you, it's going to be scary watching Paolo and Franz navigate the paint, knowing that defenders can't leave those guys out there on the paint. Then if they do, they'll kick it out and knock down threes. So it's a nightmare scenario for opposing defenses. But Paolo and Franz are going to have the ball in their hands the majority of the time, and we see the decision-making. They're much better protecting the basketball than they were when they first got here. But I think that'll be the big thing. If he can knock down a consistent three, and he'll tell you, like I said, work a little bit more on that rebounding. But he's already there. He'd have been an all-star this year if he hadn't gotten hurt.
Now, when it comes to, you can't finish the big three without Jalen Suggs. Just how excited do you think the team is to have him back? Clean bill of health, and it really feels like he is the energizer for that team. He's the heartbeat and the soul of that ball club. Just what does it mean to have Jalen Suggs back out there on the floor next season? What kind of impact he's going to make?
What's interesting is you're right, and we hear he's the heart and soul of that team, and we knew it and we felt it and we believed it, but boy, did it materialize when we saw it last year. I don't think we knew to the extent that he was the heart and soul of that team. Obviously, Mo does that for you off the bench, but Jalen does it for you night in and night out, every possession. I mean, he's attacking somebody that he has become one of the best defensive guards in the NBA. So you've got that defensive presence. You've got that dog mentality that he brings out there, not to mention, he was one of our best three-point shooters. But I think the way he sees the floor, I think he's become a much better facilitator. I don't know that that's ever going to be a huge strength of his, coming in and setting up and and being a true point guard, so to speak. But as far as playing kind of the lead guard position, which the NBA has morphed to now, he's as good as any because he's explosive. He can attack the basket. He can finish. He gets to the free throw line a lot, which is huge. He's become a great free throw shooter. And he's just almost automatic on some nights with that three-point shot. Yeah. And he is going to absolutely harass the best player on the other team, and you just can't put a price on that. So I think that's huge. So yeah, you've got your core four; those are your guys now moving forward, and now you just got to keep them all on the floor. We heard from him yesterday during summer league, and he's feeling good. He's in the gym. He's getting close to 100%. So all of that is huge, and now we got to see what it looks like. And here's the thing too, and you hate to lose anybody, with the trade of Cole Anthony, the trade of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Right. We get to know these guys, and we really cheer for them. But I think it sends a message, too. And I think if you look at the young teams that have kind of come up this way, now we're making moves. And I think it sends a message that, that we mean business. We got to be about the right things, and these guys are. But I think it just adds another sense of urgency that we've really got to come together because, this is we've gone all in, and I think he certainly understands that.
Continuing our conversation with Dante Marchitelli, Orlando Magic host, as well as sideline reporter for the team, also the host of Magic Insiders on 96.9 The Game in Orlando, joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Before I get into the rookies and what you think of them, anytime I think of Cole Anthony, I'm always thinking about you because you did so many great interviews with him on the sideline and, had so many great quotables with you while you were asking him questions. The understanding and the thought process that he's not here anymore. And I understand it's because the Magic are going all in, but just your feelings on the tenure of Cole Anthony and what he meant to the ball club.
Oh, it's going to be hard not having him there. He was just a breath of fresh air. he really struggled last year, trying to put it all together. There was a lot that he was battling, and, there were times he couldn't hold on to the basketball. He'd be the first one to tell you, just the shot wasn't there a lot of times. Turnovers were there, but a lot of times it was there. And when he was on, there's nothing like Cole Anthony when he's on a heater.
Yeah.
When he's got it going. I mean, it was as fun as anything, and he's a walk-off Hall of Famer, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Because that's what you want. That's what that position was supposed to be, the walk-off interview with a guy like that.
Yeah.
Just a guy that, just understands, I've got a couple of seconds to make an impact, and I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to be real with you, and we're gonna have a ton of energy, and we're going to get after it. But he was always a breath of fresh air in the locker room, whether he was playing well or not. It didn't affect his attitude. It didn't affect how he was in the locker room. He's a guy that everybody joked with, and that he joked. He'd throw jokes back at them. He's a great rapport. Him and Goga in a locker room is a sight to behold. Those two going at each other, and it was with Joe Ingles the year before that.
Yeah.
So he's kind of that glue guy, and it's going to be interesting without him. Somebody else is going to have to emerge, and there are several candidates that can do that. But that's a big voice. That's a big piece of the locker room that's not going to be there. But they'll adjust, and they'll get used to it. But you love that about Cole, that he led the walkout. So you got to say, other than Jonathan Isaac, he was the second most tenured guy there.
Yeah,
was Cole Anthony, right? So he was the guy that would bring him out of the locker room before the game. He'd lead the huddle before they get the introductions, and everything was Cole, which was awesome. And even which to me spoke volumes, because some nights he didn't play, he was out of the rotation, and he was still the guy that they looked to kind of lead them in all those areas. And I thought that spoke volumes about him. So he had I have a ton of respect, as much as anyone, for Cole Anthony, because of the kind of person that he is, how hard he works, and how much he wants it. There's guys that you don't know if they have an off night, if it really bothered them or not. If he had an off night, he felt he let the team down. And I'll tell you what, you go to bat, you go to war with a guy like that any night.
Absolutely. Final one before we let you go. I mean, talking about these Orlando Magic rookies and Jace Richardson and Noah Pinda. I mean, you got a chance to meet them in Orlando. We've seen them in the summer league, and I'm excited for both of these guys. From what I've been able to see from them in summer league, it looks like those are going to be great locker room guys. They'll continue to grow and develop as players. I understand going all in, they probably won't get enough time on the floor because of what the Orlando Magic are looking to accomplish. But just what have been your thoughts on those two young men being brought into the fold of the Orlando Magic?
Well, first of all, very impressive youngsters, as far as the way they present themselves, the way they think about the game, the way they connected with the media and when they were down here, and the way they seemingly are about all the right things. I think the size of Noah Pinda is what really sticks out. And I think that's who there were a lot of mock drafts that had him going as early as 21, 22, and for the Magic to get him at 32, they felt that was a steal, for a guy with that size, that athleticism, that quickness, that length, everything that they covered on the defensive end. So you get a guy that understands. So he understands what his game is. He doesn't want to go out there and be the leading scorer, kind of like Jonathan Isaac. He wants to muck things up for the opposing team. He wants to be one of the best defensive players in this game. And I think that's huge. There's a place for that on this team. Well, he'll get his number called at some point during the season, and we'll see what he's made of. And then Jace Richardson, just terrific pedigree, right? Obviously, his father was an NBA player.
Yeah.
He was a couple of years here in Orlando, and you get a guy that can flat out shoot the rock. And I think what we've seen in Summer League in a couple of games anyway is an explosive athlete, even though he's undersized, and he can get muscled around, and he finds a way to keep his dribble alive, and he can still get around opposing defenses and get to the basket. So I think you've got a guy that is known for his shooting, 41% at Michigan State, but he can also finish. He can also get in the paint and has a mid-range game. And he also is pretty pesky on the defensive end, right? So you've got a guy, now you've got him, you've got what becomes of Tristan da Silva, coming into this year as well. And Goga, how many minutes does Goga Batadze get? So all of a sudden you're deep. You've got some depth on this roster. But I think, it's a great situation for Jace and Noah to be in because, on bar injuries, they're not going to have to carry an extensive load going into it. They're going to be able to observe. They're going to be able to pick their spots. And then when their number's called, we'll see what they're made of, and I don't doubt that they'll rise to the occasion. So it's a great spot for them to kind of learn before they get thrown into the mix. And I think when the time is right, then I think they'll certainly have a big role. So I think there's a lot of guys, a big year for a lot of guys this year, trying to earn minutes in this rotation. And if I'm Jet Howard, if I'm Goga Batadze, if I'm Jonathan Isaac, if I'm these guys, I've got these youngsters pushing me to try to get in the rotation. So I think that's a good place to be in.
I am excited for the Jacksonville Jaguars upcoming season, but if, just between me and you, the listener here in Jacksonville, I am deeply excited about the Magic upcoming season, and I'm so happy and elated to always talk about it with Dante Marchitelli. He's the Orlando Magic host as well as sideline reporter and host of Magic Insiders on 96.9 The Game in Orlando. So gracious to give us a couple moments of his time to talk Orlando Magic all season. Dante, again, thank you so much for doing this, and we're going to do this again down the road, my friend. Thank you so much.
RJ, anytime. I appreciate you greatly. I can't tell you how much. And you made this happen in Jacksonville. This is huge. I'm forever indebted. So I'm very grateful. And I think now all the hard work that you laid behind the scenes, I think a lot of people in that Jacksonville area are going to be very excited for that because they're going to hear games, and it's going to continue to brew excitement. We'll give away some tickets. We'll do some fun giveaways throughout the season. And all the excitement that's brewing there in Jacksonville, we'll bring those fans down here so they can see it up close and personal. And you can come anytime. So
Absolutely.
Good to talk to you. Good to talk to you, and we'll be in touch soon.
Absolutely. There he goes, Dante Marchitelli of the Orlando Magic. So gracious, giving us a couple moments of his time. I understand that the NBA season wrapping up here in the summer league, but a lot of guys have been wanting to hear about the Orlando Magic and the talk that's surrounding them. And I think in this Eastern Conference, it's really wide open. And I think the Magic with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs in that Eastern Conference, and with the unfortunate injuries to guys like Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton, who knows what the Celtics are going to look like next season? Who knows what the Pacers are going to look like next season? This could really be opening a door for the Orlando Magic, and we could see the NBA Finals once again in Orlando. I think that would excite a lot of us here in Jacksonville. It would certainly excite the fans down there in City Beautiful in Central Florida. What should be the floor for the Jacksonville Jaguars record-wise going into this season? Let's speak on it next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
Hacker here, and with 4th of July in the rearview mirror now, all eyes are pointing towards Labor Day and football season. How would you like to drop some weight prior to football season's arrival? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss is your answer. Back in February of 2024, I weighed 317 pounds. In just a couple of short weeks, I was down almost 40 pounds thanks to the great folks of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It's that quick. The coaching you get, the information you get, it's all perfect with Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and they can change your life very, very quickly. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, do yourself a favor and go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800. Take it from me, a guy that failed in numerous diet programs over the years. I succeeded with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're going to see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Every summer, 1010XL puts its players through training camp.
Struggle, survival.
It ain't pretty.
Victory and defeat.
But we get sharp for the season and come together as a team.
It's just a game, Doc, but
1010XL.
I love it.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember Hal Sutton when he famously said, "Be the right club today"? Well, that's what Coil Fencing delivers. The right fence today. And they've been delivering the right fencing for both commercial and residential properties for nearly 100 years. If you're in the market for a new fence, call Coil & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament with over $450,000 in cash and prizes. Fun starts on July 13th with the inaugural Kickoff Beach Tournament that has a $50,000 cash first place prize. There's also a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the winner of the General Offshore Tournament takes home a Contender 28T with twin Yamaha 200s. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coating. Pool decks, driveways, garages, patios, we coat them all to make your neighbors jealous.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Before we get into our next segment, let me welcome in Dylan Denmark to the program because I saw this on social media and we were talking about Brian Thomas Jr. before we talked Orlando Magic basketball with Dante Marchitelli. Thank you again to Dante Marchitelli of the Orlando Magic for joining us, breaking down all things Magic. But the segment before, we talked about Brian Thomas Jr. being left out of the top 10 list made by ESPN, and in terms of the wide receiver position, there was a post that was made on social media, and I would love your opinions on this. 641-1010. Start, bench, cut. Brian Thomas Jr., Puka Nacua, and Malik Neighbors. Dylan.
Jeez.
Start, bench, cut.
Oh, boy. I'm going to start Puka.
Okay.
I'll bench BTJ, and I'm going to cut Malik Neighbors. I mean, you can go wrong with either one of them, man.
Right.
I mean, that's one of those where it's what are you looking for in your offense?
That's
Puka,
where I was at.
Yeah, Puka's more of your smaller guy that can get open at any point. Incredibly hard to jam at the line of scrimmage. That was what the Rams noticed in his breakout season when he was in camp last year. It was like, we have nobody on this team that can jam him, and then they quickly knew that he was better than Cooper Kupp, and obviously they moved on from Cooper Kupp now. And then Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., it's one of those things where BTJ had slightly better numbers a year ago. Neither receiver had a good quarterback on their team.
Right.
But Malik Neighbors was a better receiver in college, so that's what a lot more people are leaning toward.
Right.
And BTJ and LSU, he was just asked to do hit a go ball and not run as much on the route tree. That was why he didn't go as high. as high as some of the receivers in his draft class did. So yeah, I'd go Puka start, BTJ bench, and I'd cut Malik. But you can't go wrong with either one of them.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them either. I think I went Brian Thomas Jr. being biased start, Puka Nacua bench, Malik Neighbors cut. That was me. But we would love to hear your opinions on the text line 641-1010. BTJ, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors start, bench, cut. What are your opinions? So with that, I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are looking to right the ship following an abysmal season last year. And I'm not saying that this is going to be a squad that's going to go undefeated or go 11, 12 plus wins this year. I saw them as a squad that would be 10-7. However, when you look at the floor record-wise, I want to know from you just what should it be going into 2025? And how do you feel this team stacks up against the other squads in the AFC South? I mean, you look at the Houston Texans, and they did bring in some names that I feel probably the national media, they know, they like, they have an idea of, but the other side of the coin with that, I do believe that there are probably some guys in which they brought in that were they better than the guys you let go of? I mean, you know, here's an example. You let go of Laramie Tunsil and you bring in Cam Robinson. Now, we know Cam Robinson was here, but is he better than Laramie Tunsil? I mean, you know, the Houston Texans are basically airlifting a whole different offensive line here in Houston. I mean, not here in Houston, but they're starting a completely different offensive line. Does that make them significantly better than Jacksonville going into this year? Now, I feel probably the team, whether it's fair or unfair, that we're probably sleeping on is that of the Indianapolis Colts. Like it, love it, hate it, they finished second in the division last year. That QB battle that they have there, not the biggest fan of, but I do believe that there are questions. I think you look at Daniel Jones, this is going to be a new regime in which he's under. We've seen guys go places, and maybe a change of scenery helps. Could that be with Daniel Jones? Or are they so gung-ho on the fact that Anthony Richardson was the guy in which they drafted that this needs to be the franchise QB under center for years to come? And when I think about it that way, I say maybe you don't need to worry about the Indianapolis Colts that much. However, I was also a guy that thought you didn't need to worry about them that much last year, and there were times in which you struggled, and I know a lot of that came on both sides of the ball. But defensively, you're looking at the Colts and saying two mid quarterbacks, and that should be winnable games, but everybody can have a good day. And against the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, a lot of quarterbacks that were had good days against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then you have the Tennessee Titans. They have Cam Ward, and yeah. And to me, that's a team that, you know, has their problems. I think there's questions about Coach Callahan. Is he the guy for the job? We'll certainly see how he's going to develop one Cam Ward, who's the number one overall pick. Their skill group, I think, probably has a lot of question marks. I hate Calvin Ridley. Other than him, I mean, give me an idea of who's there for us to clutch our pearls and say that's a team we have to watch out for in the AFC South. So for me this season, I had them at 10-7. I believe Dylan had them at 9-8 this year. I say 9-8 should be the floor for Jacksonville. I don't believe it should be anything else less than that unless something catastrophic happens. I mean, I understand the fact that you're coming out of a place that was very dysfunctional. The injury bug did hit you like a freight train last season, but I think you brought in the right guy for the job. I do believe that there's a lot of motivation coming from these guys. As we talked about at the top, Travis Hunter, can he play both sides of the ball? I think he's going to show the NFL world that he can, and he can do it at a high level. Trevor Lawrence going into year 5, it seems to me that he understands what's in front of him. Josh Hines-Allen finally dropping the weight, thinks that he can be a much better player, a much more effective player, even that of Eric Armstead. Saying that, hey, listen, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the pass regime, they played me out of position. I would have been much more effective if I would have been in my natural position. So I think there's a lot of motivation for this group going into this season. But I do also understand it's a tall order for a team that only won 4 games last year. And now you're saying that they're going to be with a new coach, a new GM, a new EVP, a guy who many are on the fence about, are going to be 5 wins better. And in my opinion, 6 wins better than what they were a year ago. But 10 wins last year won the division. And I'm asking you, the listener, did the Titans, the Texans, or the Colts get any better from this past season? And are we saying that one of those teams are going to win 11 games, and 11 games is going to get it done in the AFC South? This division, in my opinion, this is not a hard division. This is not a scary division. You're not going up against the who's who each and every week when you're facing a team in your division. This is not the NFC East. This isn't the AFC North. This is the AFC South. And I like that. I also hate that, just due to the fact that it's not a division that's very star-studded. But the only team in which you're competing against right now, in my opinion, is that of the Houston Texans. But the Houston Texans, when you look at the AFC as a whole, I don't think they're amongst the top tier teams in the AFC where you're saying this is their division, we're just living in it. I'm not saying that you're going to sweep the season series against the Houston Texans, but I do believe you can win one game, whether that's here in Jacksonville or out there in Houston. But second place, which, second place just means you're the first to lose, but a second place finish in the division, and maybe that gets you a wild card spot next season in the tournament in the NFL. I don't think that is beyond comprehension, or that I'm reaching here at a 9-8 finish. 9-8 gave you second place in 2023. I think with a brand new offense and brand new ideas and a forward-thinking coach, I think you're right in the mix within your division. And this is probably where I say this is how you look at a successful year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A second-place finish, a wild card game, and whether you win or lose that game shouldn't matter. This now puts you in the right direction where I think Liam Cohen is going to be a guy that's we're going to be looking at highly and saying, well, listen, he turned it around from what it was last year. The alternative, he turned it around. Trevor Lawrence, if he has a solid year under Liam Cohen and he's being the guy in which he needs to be, that we know he can be here in Jacksonville, gives us a lot of excitement here. And the city shouldn't be discouraged, in my opinion. Now, it may not be what we love seeing when the Jacksonville Jaguars are winning at a high clip. The city just feels different. People are buying each other cars. People are buying each other drinks. I mean, listen, you can put the electric bill in my name and I don't even know you. It may not get there. That may be a couple years down the line. But year one, if you can be a team that's 5 wins better, 6 wins better than last year. And what do we always talk about? Lost a lot of those games, 1 score. So that means at least, to the very least, you were in them. Trevor Lawrence, Liam Cohen, this pairing, and also if Liam Cohen can help in 2 ways, opening drives, third downs. Because the Jaguars were god-awful on third down conversion rate. Liam Cohen is supposed to help all of this. If that happens, you win those games that last year when you had those demons and losing in 1-score games, do that. I think the floor of 9-8 is not out of the realm of possibility. Anything less than that, yeah. I'll be ready to hit the panic button. Let's close it out on the other side. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Put a little hot sauce on your lunchtime listening. Spicy. Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy. They are XL Primetime.
4-alarm fire.
From the big #1 Duval Ford Studios. Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barr here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barr Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit barrorthopedics.com.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to I-9 Sports with fall and winter registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. I9sports.com, enter 1010 for a discount.
Your doctor says your testosterone is normal. Normal for who? Beta males? That's where those lab ranges come from. Male Excel uses optimal levels, where you were at 25, not where outdated mainstream medicine thinks you should be. Our protocol is different. Daily dosing, multiple hormones, personalized to your body, not some insurance company's spreadsheet. This is precision medicine, not sick care. Try MaleExcel.com, free test. Stop being normal. Start being optimal.
In your car or out of your car.
Get me out of this car.
Take 1010XL with you wherever you go.
We're online and ready.
By downloading our free 1010XL app. Available for all smartphones and tablets.
The best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
Joe C. for Preferred Roofing, reminding you your roof is more than just felt and shingles. It's a system that not only keeps your home dry, but also impacts your heating and cooling bills. Preferred Roofing and Construction is a GAF Master Elite roofing contractor lauded for having the ability to educate and inform homeowners on their options. Why GAF and Preferred Roofing? They're veteran-owned and operated with ties to Duval for decades. A family business ready to make sure your family has a good roof over its head. Log on, preferredroofingjacks.com.
Sun's out. Deals on at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Enjoy summer eats like the Yingling beer batter fish sandwich, chicken salad lettuce wraps, and wings and tenders combo basket. All for under $14. Add 3 bone-in wings for just $3.49 and sip a peach cocktail or Michelob Ultra. HurricaneWings.com.
One of Beard's Diamond's most popular events ever is back. It's Christmas in July. Right now, for a limited time, you get as much as 40% off anything in our showcases. Yes, that includes engagement rings, fashion rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstones, Stones. This is the annual store-wide sale that everyone loves because you get December prices in July. Up to 40% off store-wide. Don't miss Christmas in July. Exclusively at Beard's Diamond at the St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com. Shop local. Shop Beards.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
You have healing power. Even writing a letter or volunteering can help heal a veteran. Find out more at healvets.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
Hope Haven believes in children and youth with special needs and abilities and has developed programs to help ensure their success. Find out more about their employment services and internship program at hope-haven.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
We have a chance. Jacksonville Jaguars have a chance. It's the beautiful part about the offseason. Every team has a chance. However, I feel like the energy is different with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, you know, when Trevor Lawrence got drafted, there was an energy in the city, but that was really coming from us. We finally thought that we had our guy, and we probably still do have our guy. I'm pulling for Trevor Lawrence here, but we immediately said that's the Mahomes, that's the Brett Favre, that's the Brady. We now have that here in Jacksonville. We finally have our own. But I don't know if he would have done what we saw, the spark in which we are witnessing in Travis Hunter. I just don't know if we would have saw him go on a live stream and do that. And outside of maybe Jalen Ramsey, I also saw the comment of maybe Leonard Fournette was a guy that brought a spark here. I just don't mean spark in terms of guys we were excited about, if that makes sense. I'm talking about just guys who are going to transcend the game of football. And Travis Hunter has an opportunity to transcend the game of football. And he's doing it here in Jacksonville. And he's going on live streams and teaching guys how to say Duval here. Guys who I don't feel are NFL fans in AMP. I've never seen those guys say that they're football fans. And maybe they become Jacksonville Jaguar fans because of the effect that Travis Hunter has and the opportunity in which he is taking to take advantage of this new lens and this new era we're in with social media. The story that we saw about the young woman on the plane with Travis Hunter. And he really didn't hype himself up like that. He just said, listen, my name's Travis. Until she showed the picture to her family, and they said, you want to play with Travis Hunter? That is a different kind of energy here, in which I love and which I adore, because it just hasn't been here in a long time. So when I see the 651, because I brought up the fact that, the Jacksonville Jaguars, it always seems, at least recently, it always seems that if we are in the news, it's because of something negative towards us. Saquon Barkley is the Madden cover athlete, and the photo in which they are electing to use, I know that they redid it inside of a studio, but the fact that he hurdled over a Jaguar player, that's normally how we see ourselves being covered by NFL media. Now, I think there's a level of intrigue here. There's a level of excitement here. And not only here for us in Jacksonville, but also in the NFL world. Because I do believe that there are those in the NFL space that they looked at the Jacksonville Jaguars after 2022 and thought they would take the next step up. Well, we've taken now a couple of steps back. And everything for the most part is brand new. Because what did the new regime do when Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Baselli? They decided to swing for the fences and swing big. And you go get this guy. And many feel that maybe you gave up too much. This man hasn't played a down. He has not played a snap. And this is the effect that he has on the city and on the community and on the team and the organization as a whole. It's different. It's different, and it's something in which I absolutely love. The 469, when talking about Brian Thomas Jr., once Liam instructs Trevor to feed BTJ the ball, others will be open, and I bet we get ETN open in space too. I agree. I think that this offense is made for a lot of people to get open. I think a lot of those answers in which we've heard Trevor Lawrence talk about, a lot of those answers are also because there's going to be a lot of guys open. Now, the offensive line, sure, they do have to protect them. And we've seen, and when you look at the numbers, when he has protection and he has a clean pocket, he's able to find the guys in which he needs. But we also heard from J.P. Shadrick earlier today that Trevor, instead of holding on to the football, just let it go. Let it go. Sling it. See what you got. And I think he has options. We talk about ETN Jr., but also LaKen Allen. I mean, this is a guy that can be a pass-catching running back out of the backfield. That's going to be a weapon there. We'll see how many snaps he gets from game to game. But also with De'Ami Brown, Brenton Strange, who I feel like we don't talk about enough. Parker Washington, I don't feel like we talk about enough. You heard Liam Cohen in his introductory press conference talking about how he's going to be looking to maneuver these guys back and forth from across the field in motion. I think a lot of guys are going to get a lot of touches. But Brian Thomas Jr. being the guy and being the number one option certainly needs to be placed under the microscope in order for the Jacksonville Jaguars to have a successful season. That's only going to be coming up here in a few short weeks, and we are certainly excited here in the city of Jacksonville. That is going to do it for us. For Dylan Denmark, I am RJ Saunders. This has been Open Gym. We will be filling in for Rick Ballou and Hacker for the next 2 days before they make their return on Monday. So we will talk to you tomorrow at 6.